Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. Women are as capable as men in achieving success. Hello there, good afternoon. I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News on 2. Great leaders need to have good values inculcated in them, which indirectly would influence their followers to follow suit. However, according to Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the biggest challenge would be finding that one capable leader.
All leaders must enhance their capability, and enhancing the capability means that you have to learn, first of all, good values. Then, of course, you must have more knowledge and experience. Then you must have some kind of bravery, a willingness to take risks as compared to your followers.
The Premier further said that followers would be deeply inspired and determined to work harder when a leader is equipped with all the positive elements to strive ahead along with his or her followers in whatever challenges they embark together.
The leader, in a way, is like the stone that you drop in the water. Because of the ripples that he causes, others will benefit. And eventually those at the edge of the ripple will themselves become leaders and will cause ripples to benefit others.
The Premier said this in his speech at the 12th Malaysian Student Leaders Summit MSLS in Kuala Lumpur, organized by the United Kingdom and Ireland UKC Council of Malaysian Students. Women play a very important role in the country's development, and they should not falter when facing challenges and keeping with the times. Commenting further on the matter, Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said that her position as the second in command is a clear example that women are capable of achieving great successes.
Peranan wanita dalam pembentukan negara begitu penting sekali. Justru saya amat berharap wanita tidak mudah goyah dalam mendepani apa jua cabaran yang mendatang.
Dato Sri Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also Women, Family and Community Development Minister, said this after launching the Honey Care Medical Fund, a charity fund for former students of Tunku Kurtia College at the Federal Capital last night. The fund is an initiative by Tunku Kurtia College Old Girls Association to finance the medical cost of its less fortunate alumni. PAS has confirmed that they will not be contesting for the Balakong constituency by-election, but will be contesting for the Sri Setia constituency. The party's Deputy President, Dato' Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, said 3 names have been shortlisted for Sri Setia and the candidate's name will be announced on August 15th. Dato' Tuan Ibrahim said the decision was made by the party's top leadership during the monthly meeting in Gombak, Selangor. He further said that they are not seeking help from BN, however, they are most welcome to help out if they are really keen to do so. The Election Commission had earlier announced that the Balakong and Sri Setia by-election will take place simultaneously on 8th of September. Nomination day will be on August 18th and the campaign period will last for 21 days. More than 20,000 hawkers under 16 local authorities in Johor will benefit from the license fee waiver effective 1st of September with an estimated allocation of 2 million ringgit. Menteri Besar Dato' Osman Sapian said the exemption will be given to all types of hawker licenses, including the night market, a day or morning market, and both mobile and stationary hawkers. Dato' Osman said the state's strong financial position will be capable to accommodate the move and would not adversely affect the revenues collected by the local authorities in the state. The Johor Menteri Besar said this after launching the license fees waiver benefit for hawkers in Johor at Jalan Seget, Johor Bahru yesterday. He, however, noted that all hawkers are still required to apply and obtain licenses from the respective local councils to do business for the purposes of monitoring and enforcing, as well as compliance with license conditions. The hotline and special operations room for the public to provide information on gambling premises in the city have received lukewarm responses so far. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Seri Mazlan Lazim said despite assuring that their identities would be kept confidential, the public are still afraid to lodge a report. Datuk Seri Mazlan said the police is serious in wanting to curb illegal gambling and members of the public should provide the necessary information to allow police to take action.
Kalau mereka bagi maklumat, identiti mereka ni kita rahsiakan. Kita jamin. Maksudnya kita tidak akan bagi tahu pada orang lain tentang maklumat ni datang dari mereka ni. Memang macam tu.
The Kuala Lumpur Police Chief said this to reporters after officiating the Jom Ronda and the Police and Armed Forces Rapat Cabin Ronda Awam program for the Taman Koperasi Polis Phase 2 Rukun Tetangga in Kuala Lumpur last night. He also advised members of the Volunteer Patrol Scheme, SKS, to not take the law into their own hands, instead to hand over suspects they apprehended to the police for further action. A 16-year-old teenager died after falling off from the highest floor of the Megalong Penampang multi-story shopping complex in Sabah. Penampang Police Chief DSP Muhammad Haris Haji Ibrahim in a statement said investigations reveal that the incident occurred around 4:06 p.m. It is believed that the victim landed on a parked car before falling onto the sidewalk next to the mall. He also said that the victim was a student of one of the schools in Penampang and the family of the victim have been contacted to identify the body. Medical personnel who rushed to the scene confirmed that the victim died on the spot. A post-mortem is expected to take place to identify the cause of death, and the case has been classified as sudden death. 3 Jordanian policemen killed in storming of militants' hideout. Details right after this.
Build your own internet plan with the add-ons of your choice. From unlimited social, music, chat and more. Sign up for Hotlink Postpaid Flex, the most flexible postpaid plan today.
Members of Israel's Arab community led a mass protest in central Tel Aviv on Saturday night against a contentious new law that critics say marginalizes the state's non-Jewish citizens. The rally marked further fallout from the explosive nation-state law and it came a week after thousands of Druze, also members of the Arab community, packed the same city square last week. Israel says the recently passed bill merely enshrines the country's existing character, but critics say it undercuts Israel's democratic values and sidelines the country's non-Jewish population, namely the Arab community that makes up 20% of the country. One clause downgrades the Arabic language from official to special standing.
We came here to say to Netanyahu and to Trump that we have a problem here. You have to solve this problem. We cannot agree for this law. This law is against us, against the Arabian language, against peace, against our future in this land. We are the real people of this land. We can't agree for this law.
Israeli media reported tens of thousands of Arabs and Jews attended the protests. Israel's Arab community faced discrimination in many areas of society, like jobs and housing. 3 members of Jordan's security forces were killed on Saturday when they stormed a hideout of suspected militants that had been rigged with explosives. A government spokeswoman said the officers had been chasing suspects in an explosion a day earlier in which a policeman was killed. Prime Minister Omar Razaz portrayed Friday's bombing as a terrorist attack, although no group immediately took responsibility. Jordan is a close Western ally in a turbulent region and has largely been spared from the conflicts in neighboring Syria and Iraq. However, the kingdom has also been targeted by militants, both domestic and foreign, who have carried out a series of attacks. A confrontation between police officers in riot gear and demonstrators in the University of Virginia campus appeared to be de-escalating after a tense few minutes of shouting. We don't care, people die. Students and other activists had gathered Saturday evening for a pre-planned rally to mark the anniversary of a campus confrontation between torch-carrying white nationalists and counter-protesters. Demonstrators unfurled a banner that said, "Last year they came with torches, this year they came with badges."
They're afraid of us. They're afraid of us because we are demanding change from the university. We are demanding that they actually take a stand against white supremacy in its many forms, against the white supremacists that are marching and against white supremacy in the way that is entrenched in this institution.
A group of more than 200 protesters then marched to another part of campus. Students began delivering speeches over a loudspeaker. Many in the crowd then broke away and shouted at officers in riot gear, forming a line. After a few minutes, most of the demonstrators began to walk away. Coming up, Tsitsipas continues impressive form and series of upsets. Teenager Stefanos Tsitsipas continued his impressive form and series of upsets as he knocked out fourth seed Kevin Anderson in the Rogers Cup semi-final on Saturday, following a 6-7, 6-4, 7-6 victory in Toronto, Canada. Tsitsipas, who celebrates his 20th birthday tomorrow, is in the form of his young career. The victory is his fourth consecutive win against a top 10 opponent, having already knocked out Novak Djokovic, David Goffin, Dominic Thiem and most recently Alexander Zverev on Friday. Tsitsipas fired an ace at 7-7 before converting his third match point of the deciding tiebreaker when Anderson's return sailed long. The South African had a match point of his own at 7-6, but Tsitsipas came through with a brilliant backhand cross-court winner to pull even. Victory assured Tsitsipas the 15th ranking after starting this week on 27th. Sloane Stephens will be looking for some revenge when she takes on Simona Halep in the final of the Rogers Cup. The 25-year-old Stephens, who is preparing for the defense of her US Open title, beat the 5th-seeded Elina Svitolina in straight sets on Saturday with 6-3, 6-3. Stephens had dominated the first set, scoring 2 early breaks to race into a 4-love lead against a hesitant Svitolina. Svitolina rallied briefly to get back to 5-3, but then handed Stephens another break and the first set when she sent a forehand wide. The second set was a similar story, with Stephens going 3-1 up after an early break. The 25-year-old from Florida then overcame a wobble in the 5th game, double faulting 3 times before eventually holding for a 4-1 lead and closing out the set. PSV Eindhoven thrashed FC Utrecht 4-0 on the opening day of the Dutch Eredivisie on Saturday. Defending Eredivisie champions PSV Eindhoven opened the campaign for the 2018-2019 season with an impressive 4-0 home win over FC Utrecht. Uruguayan midfielder Gaston Pereiro broke the deadlock in the 16th minute, clipping a 20-yard free kick in off the underside of the crossbar. PSV doubled their lead shortly before the hour mark through Steven Bergwijn after Utrecht failed to clear a corner before late goals from Mexican frontmen Irving Lozano and Denzel Dumfries completed the rout. Inter Milan beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 in the International Champions Cup at the Estadio Wanda Metropolitano in Madrid on Saturday, courtesy of Lautaro Martinez's stunning first-half volley. It was the final match before the start of the season for both clubs. The visitors looked well-versed and ready for the new campaign and quickly set about carving Atletico open. Matias Vecino fed Kwadwo Asamoah, who picked out Mauro Icardi, who, after nutmegging Diego Godin, saw his goal-bound attempt blocked by Jan Oblak. Inter's pursuit of the opener was eventually rewarded shortly after the half-hour mark when Lautaro Martinez thumped home a volley into the roof of the net following Asamoah's cross. Atletico went closest through Felipe Luis before the interval, but he shot high over the bar in the 40th minute. The second half saw a raft of changes, with Diego Simeone introducing World Cup winner Antoine Griezmann in the 62nd minute. However, it was another of the substitutes, Vitolo, who was denied a late equaliser after his header was expertly kept out by Inter stopper Samir Handanovic. That concludes this afternoon's edition of News on 2. In our top story, positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. News on 2 will come again at a bit earlier today at 6 p.m. to make way for the Women's Under-20 World Cup match between Brazil and North Korea. Till then, I'm Cynthia Arthur and thank you for watching.